Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you. Excellent. Hello, hello. All right. So we've got a little bit of time. Uh, Somebody would like to share something about what's good, what's up, any questions, any challenges. This is really your time to. The more we talk about our creativity, and we even mention a little aha or something that was neat, we build that ball of energy even bigger. That reminds us and pulls us more into action. So, who would like to share something good? Great. I see Peter, and then we'll go to Sue. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, I skipped ahead, and it worked like a dream. It was like 2 pages, like that, you know.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Good for you, Peter. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Excellent. Super. All right, Sue, what do you got for us?
I forget who was talking about haiku last week, but I thought I was going to draw, but I said, oh, but before I draw, I'm just going to write a few little haiku poems. So I ended up writing 18 of them.
Wow.
And I have this like new app on my phone that I love called Day One, and I can just put stuff into it. And so it just becomes easy. I don't have to find something or put it in the right notebook. Like for me right now, that's just the easiest way to do things. And I can even upload pictures and stuff if I want. But I just enjoyed processing through writing little haiku poems in a linear series. And it brought me joy, and it also like gave me a chance to think through some things in a way that now that I feel like it's on the page, I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of move on. It's on the page. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Nice. Nice. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. That's great. I love it. All right. Who else has something good to share? Question. Go ahead, Robert. You gonna mute yourself?
I am unmuted. Well, it was really funny. Is that I was just talking with Karen about how I'm coming back to a script that I have put aside for years. It's just been sitting there while I was working in this other project, and just all I did was I was just like reading through the scenes and correcting certain things, and I was just realizing that it's real. I really like it. It's really fun, and I was like enjoying just reading my own work. So it's really funny how it's like coming to something that I set aside a long time ago, and how much enjoyment I was getting out of it, and how cool it is. Even now, I'm like, I was pretty good right then. I'm just saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super fun. I can tell you at one point when I was getting, I don't know, halfway, somewhere in the middle, 3/4 way through Space Fighters on Prom Day, one day I picked it up and I started reading it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I want to find out what happens next. And I was like, that is so weird because I wrote it.
Exactly.
It was a very wonderful and bizarre situation.
Yeah. Right.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. All right. Who else would like to share something or question or challenge or anything like that? Go ahead, Unity, and then we'll go to Angela. Go ahead, Unity, if you'd unmute yourself.
Hi. So I was paired up with Susanna, which was really hilarious because I was I told her was thinking about her earlier today because I had wanted to do some watercolor, and then we ended up being partners. So that was kind of interesting coincidence. But anyway, so I had these old watercolors that I couldn't get the lids off, and so I thought I wasn't going to do watercolor because I've been starting to think beforehand, like, oh, what am I doing tonight? And I thought anyway. So, but I had some other watercolors that weren't quite as high quality, but they had a lot of beautiful colors. And so after you gave us the start time, I wasn't thinking I was doing watercolor because I thought, but then I'm like, I really want to do something with color. So I ended up watercoloring. So and then I got to talk with Susanna.
Nice.
And listen to what she's working on too. So it was fun.
That's great. Way to be persistent with the watercolor and way to go with it. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Angela, if you'd unmute yourself.
Yes.
What's
Hi.
up? Hey, good to see you.
I kind of caught up on your Thursday videos. So I was very jazzed by the new Abraham Maslow pyramid.
Excellent.
You were brilliant.
I love it. I love when people tell me that. It is so much fun.
And it's so, you and your perspective of just, twisting it just a little bit of that we don't wait until we're feeling creative. We don't wait until we're self-actualized enough to be creative. We don't keep putting it out there and then turning to our addiction because we're so despairing because we're not there yet.
Right.
I mean, I think that's that despair is a lot of what feeds our addictions, or I know it is in my case, and so to think, okay, I need to bring my creativity in on all those levels is just great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And it felt really good to do that. Because I've been doing this for a while, and then it just came up again, and I was just looking at it. I'm just like, but I don't know. Do you guys know who like some of the people Abraham Maslow studied to do? It was like Albert Einstein. It was the woman that co-started the ACLU. It was Frederick Douglass. I mean, like self-actualized people. Do you know what I mean? Like he looked at and talked to like that was great that he included at least one Black person, and he included a woman, you know what I mean? So at least, and I think he just missed, like how creative they were. Do you know what I mean?
I can see how it would look like that from the outside though, because there was like, it would be this progression.
Right.
And if they started out,
right.
And I've felt that way too. And we kind of taught that you got to take care of this first,
right,
and then you got to do,
yeah,
or if you're too worried on that basic level, then you feel like you can't be creative when really what you want to do is bring that creativity in, but it doesn't occur to you unless you have somebody pointing it out.
Right. Totally. Super. So glad you enjoyed it. Excellent. Someone else got something good to share? Question, comment? Cool. I was going to say the thing with the Maslow thing too is, and I didn't say it in the video, is that I love living in a capitalistic society. You know what I mean? I really do. Give the people what they want. I think it's very good. But one of the problems with that I've really seen is people make money off of selling things, right? So selling a basketball or selling guitar strings or selling some paints usually doesn't bring as much money as a subscription to some video game or something else. And so the idea of tapping into our creativity is sometimes overlooked by the markets because they're not really making as much money that way when we slow down. And that's sort of the difference between, I call it slowing down and being creative as opposed to moving fast and consuming, and so it's a nice reminder to slow down and be creative wherever we're at on the pyramid. Cool. All right, Diane. Okay. Oops, sorry, you got to unmute yourself.
I was just thinking in my former career, I was very creative. I took something from like really tiny to bigger, to bigger, to bigger, to bigger, to bigger. And I really got off on the creativity of it. It
Mhm.
wasn't that the money, I wanted the money, and then I had to find a way of being creative to get there. It was just that I was creative, and then more creative, and then more creative, and then the money kept growing. I mean, every time I took a big step and figured it out, then the money would come, and then I'd take another step, and not knowing what the money was going to do or really caring. I just want to figure another way.
Right.
If it hasn't been done, I want to figure out how to do it. And I think that if I follow my passion and my creativity and my line of creativity, that I will eventually make money if that's what I want.
Yeah.
And if I don't need money, I can give it away. And and if I need it, that's fine. But the creativity has to come first, in my perspective.
Yeah. Well, it did in yours. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of people having jobs that creativity is not coming first, and they're coming home and drinking and smoking and watching a lot of Netflix.
I did that once.
You did that once. As in
20 years.
As in like once, or like as in once as in a long amount of time, a period. Diane's like, oh, I did that once. It was last week, Tuesday.
Once for 20 years.
Oh, 20 years. No, well, that's a great question. So did you do it while you were at that job, or was it a different job?
No, I got a different job.
Right.
I created my own business.
Okay.
And then I was able to, I was creative in my regular work,
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
I've become much more successful creatively when I was doing it for myself than when I was trying to do it for the government, for example, because I had so much more flexibility, because I was the only one, I was my own boss.
Right.
I mean, my customers were the boss,
Right,
but,
sure.
I gave them what they want, and I gave them what I wanted to give,
Right.
and I just figured it out. Anyway, I just thought it's
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Did you start writing your book at that time, or was your creativity mostly the job that you had at that time? Like, did you have a side creative project going too?
Let me see. And it kind of went concurrent. I opened an inn, and then I opened a travel service, and then I opened an adventure service, and then I opened destination weddings, and then I opened, and then it just kind of kept going crazy.
Right.
So it built upon each other.
Yep.
But I was also teaching and doing other stuff too. It's just like, It was so wonderful. Even though I had a opportunity to be very creative when I worked for the government in contracting, I had much more creativity. I had no bounds. No one could tell me I can't do this.
Yeah.
I just did it.
Can I ask you like a personal question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to? Were you like, this is my thought, like you weren't addicted to cocaine at that time?
No, I was not addicted to cocaine.
Or you know what I mean? Because you were creating and especially if it's your own business and sort of doing it your way and building it in the way you wanted to. My experience of just working with people is when they do that, then they're using their creativity to expand and all the good words you want to call it. So then they don't need to hide or medicate themselves because they're actually living life pretty darn fully.
And that's interesting. So when I did it, I had started doing personal growth work.
Okay.
And that led to more personal growth work, which led to more personal growth work. And, so I would do these, 3-month programs, 5-month programs. And it was really the personal growth work that gave me the confidence to reach outside of my perceived limits.
Cool.
And as I did that, I didn't, all the little addictive things of, wasting time and having a glass of wine here and there, that had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then it was just really building,
right.
And every step gave me more confidence. And if I didn't make money at it, that wasn't the point for me. It was just to risk and step outside my comfort zone.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Very nice. All right. Someone else, something good to share, something going on, a question, a comment? Can be really small, can be so incredibly small. Oh, there you go, Debbie. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I hope I make sense when I'm asking this question, but after we did the interview about how I was writing and how much this helped me, I kind of got into a place of being blocked a little bit. And I wondered, is it because I felt vulnerable because people saw that I'm writing a book? But I got a lot of positive support and encouragement, and even like gifts people gave me, like writer's gifts, things to support it. And so I don't know if it was like almost too much goodness or if it was just kind of, at that time I had written a lot of the synchronistic stories that I wanted to write, and I was a little bit at a standstill. I didn't quite know what to write next. So I guess there's probably two questions: the vulnerability part, being seen for your dream, and then the second part is, if we feel a block. I heard what you shared with Peter, and I was in a room with him, so that was perfect. We could talk about that.
Cool.
But since I'm not writing like a novel like you all do, there's not like a story to skip ahead to necessarily. I mean, there might be at some point, but I was just like kind of out of stories. And then is it better to take a break or to do something else creative? Like paint or
so just to do a quick perception check is, so your book is about synchronicities, right? And then you have little stories or longer stories about synchronicities, right? And then do you talk about that at like the end of each story, or are you going to have a section that like talks about synchronicities overall, or how to be more synchronistic, or?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure yet. So maybe that's part of it. I could go into more of what's the rest of it going to be.
What you can do for people writing a novel or writing a screenplay, one of the best things to do is to write the book that I want to read, or write the movie that I want to watch, right? So if I'm watching something, like if I'm in a theater and I see something and it's not that exciting, I can't do anything about it. I'm in the seat, right? I bought a ticket. All I got to do is, but if I'm writing something and sometimes I'd look at it and go, oh, I want that to be more exciting, I can make it more exciting. I can have this guy punch this guy. I can have, something happen right there. So part of what you could do perhaps is say, okay, I'm reading about synchronicities. What would I want somebody to tell me about synchronicities? Would I want somebody to tie them all together? Would I want people to point out the similarities, or do you know what I mean? Like what would you want? Or you can look at it as I know you know a lot about synchronicities and all this stuff, that's why you're writing it. Maybe you could also look at it as I wonder if someone had just picked this book up, Synchronicity in Itself, I wonder what would be most helpful for them to learn about synchronicities. I wondered what they would, and you could even ask, if you wanted to, you could ask 10 people that aren't that woo-woo or synchronistic and say, what are your questions about synchronicities? Or have you even heard of synchronicities? And that could be interesting, because they may ask something so simple or so mundane that you just assume is common knowledge. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I'll throw in something to help them bridge that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So
let's go back to the first part though. Yeah. Oh, you goofed, man. You let people know you're a writer and then they acknowledge you. And they bought you writer gifts. Oh no. Was that scary then? Or
a little bit. And a friend of mine gave me like these bags of gifts, and every time I feel like I need encouragement, I'm supposed to open one. Wow. And I'm like, I've got all these gifts sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And there are people on this call who gave me gifts, to encourage me, which I love, but it's weird, that tug of war.
Well, do you So it's 7:29. If you guys need to leave, go ahead and do that. We're going to finish out this question, and you're welcome to stay, obviously. So the big question is, what is that tug of war?
Yeah, like the part that, wants to go for it. And, like Diane was saying, why not just do this and this? And I thought of that and go for that. I just love that attitude. And the part that's like, don't get too big for your britches. I heard that growing up.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, those crazy britches. Oh, God knows big things can't fit in britches. That's one thing we've learned. I don't know what that means. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is so great because this actually came up with someone I was working with yesterday. So and I'm going to tell it in like this story. It's very short, and it's actually from the book Dune. I don't know if you guys know Dune. It's a fantastic sci-fi. It's like one of the major masterpieces ever. So anyhow, in Dune, they're on a sand planet, right? And there's these guys, and they set up a little camp. It's real quick, and they mine spice that's in the planet, right? Which is sort of like, it's cinnamon flavored. I guess it'd be sort of like a drug. It lets people see into different time dimensions, right? But the huge problem is there's these giant worms in Dune, right? And once you land and make noise, they come and they will eat you. And they're huge. They're like super, super big, like Godzilla size, right? So then they also have these helicopter type things, but to make it more sci-fi, they call them thopters, right? Instead of helicopter, it's just a thopter, right? So anyhow, these guys are mining down here. I don't know, 15 or 20 of them, right? They're supposed to come. There's supposed to be this big ship that comes to rescue them when the sandworm comes, because they know it happens regularly. But there's sabotage and craziness happens. So this giant thing isn't going to come get them. So there's only one thopter, right? And supposedly only 4 people can fit in it, right? That's the weight capacity. But there's like 7 guys on the ground. I know I said 15 a minute ago. Whatever, there's like 7, right? So the leader, of course, goes, we're going to get him anyhow. So he lands it, right? And of course, they literally cannot take off with 7 more guys because they can only handle 4 more. Literally, it just can't lift. It's not strong enough. So they start ripping out the chairs. They throw everything out, right? All the metal, anything that does not need to be there, they throw out. Finally, all the guys get in there. The helicopter takes up, or the thopter takes up, right? And of course, at that perfect moment, the giant sandworm comes up, right, with a big mouth and just misses them, and they fly off, right? So your statement, the reason why I'm telling you all this at this moment, your statement about, I don't want to be too big for my britches, is like one of the extra metal chairs in your helicopter that you're going to have to rip out and discard so your helicopter can go up.
Yeah.
And that's all of us. All of us is that. All of us has, whenever we move forward on a goal that we haven't done before, dating someone, parenting, artistic project, at some moment we're going to say, oh no. Well, because that's the thought that stopped you from starting writing in the first place, right? So then we move to a certain degree, and then the next bunch of thoughts, or single thought, we don't have to say there's a bunch of them, but if something pops up, the good news is we can shift from going, oh no, that's so bad, that's so terrible, of like, oh, that's just what I need to do. That's really the process. The process is, I haven't done this before. I'm doing it now. It kind of makes sense that I have thoughts that didn't have me doing it before, because I wasn't doing it before. But now that I'm doing it, now random little thoughts might pop up once in a while. No big deal. I just know what I need to get rid of.
I love that. Yeah.
Right.
That's great. And your stories help so much. That helps a lot.
Cool.
And just kind of matter of fact, oh, look at this extra weight here in my doctor, or whatever it's called.
That's right.
You just have to throw it out.
Yeah, that's right. And then, and then there's numerous ways of doing that, right? You apply loving to it. You can become, sometimes it can be done sort of logically, like, oh, people liked my story, Space Spiders, on prom day, right? And people want to read it. So if a thought comes up of like, no, you're worthless, nobody wants to read what you want or what you write, I can just go, man, that's an old thought, because that's actually not true. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've been working with people for 10, 15, 20 years. You know, you help them. They tell you, they keep coming back to you. They wouldn't if you didn't. You know what I mean? So you have a history of that. So sometimes we can just logically say, no, I know what I'm doing here. That is an old thought. And, you know, and then we can apply loving to it. We can put it in a ball of white light. We can talk to someone. You know, sometimes guys, we have friends going, oh, I just had this thought, nobody likes whatever. And they'll go, that's crazy. You know what you're doing. You know, sometimes it can be that simple.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. That helps a lot.
The other thing you could do, one last thing, and then all of us can do this, whenever we receive gifts or support, 2 ways. We can see it as a gift and support for me, or we can see it as, or in conjunction, a gift and support for what I'm bringing forward. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a slight shift. Like if people are only giving me something, then it's more about me. But if they're giving me something so I can write this and bring it out to the world, then that their gift that they're giving you, Debbie, is actually, they're supporting not just you, but the book that's going to go out and help X number of people. You know what I mean? So I know other people have said, oh, I accept this gift. And they say it not from just the one single person, but I accept this gift in support of the good work I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like, doesn't make it all about you.
Yeah.
It makes it about, I'm here to make the world a better place through this project I'm working on.
Yeah, that helps tremendously.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Is that good enough? All good? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. All right, everyone. Fantastic. Great seeing you. Have a great night. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.